Factorise means to put into brackets. If we have three terms, a quadratic in terms of x, we know it's going to factorise into what we call double brackets. As the quadratic starts x squared, we know each bracket will start with single x. Our rule is we need to find two numbers that multiply together to give us what's called the number term, and the same two numbers must still add to give us the number in front of the single letter. Well, the only way to get a negative when multiplying is to have one positive and one negative. The only factors of 10 are 1 and 10 and 2 and 5. Hence, the only pair that's going to work is 2 and 5. As need to add to give us positive 3, therefore the plus must be with the 5 and the minus with the 2. Again, factorise means to put into brackets. But here our quadratic, the value of a does not equal to 1, as I have 2x squared. Hence, I apply what's commonly referred to as the a times c method. I start by drawing across a times c. As the name suggests, I multiply the number in front of the squared term, my value of a, by my c, i.e. my number term. In this case, 2 times positive 3 gives us 6. So I need to find two numbers that multiply to give us positive 6, and the same two numbers must still add to give us the number in front of the single letter, which in this case is plus 7. The only pair that multiply to give us 6 and add to give us 7, in this case, are 6 and 1. Returning to my original quadratic, I leave the 2x squared term alone. I'm now going to rewrite the 7x in terms of these two numbers. So I'm going to have plus 6x plus 1x, because I know 6x plus 1x is 7x, and I keep my original number term, in this case plus 3, alone. I now always split my quadratic after the second term. So first, second, so split down the middle. And I always factorise into what we call single brackets. Well, here on the left, the highest common factor in 2x squared and positive 6x, in this case, is 2x. Opening my single bracket, what do I times 2x to get back to 2x squared? Well, I'm missing x. What do I times 2x to get back to positive 6x? I'm missing plus 3. Whatever's inside the bracket, I now repeat on the other side of my dotted line, in this case, x plus 3. To find the missing term, all I do is I compare the first term on the right in the bracket, in this case, x. I want to get back to plus 1x. What do I times x to get back to positive 1x? Well, in this case, I'm missing plus 1. I now factorise out the single bracket, which I know is the same, in this case, x plus 3. And whatever I'm left with goes inside my second single bracket, in this case, 2x plus 1. To check, the opposite of factorise is to expand. Expanding out my double brackets, well, 2x times x will give us 2x squared. 2x times positive 3 will give us plus 6x. 1 times x will give us plus x. And 1 times 3 will give us plus 3. Simplifying, collecting like terms, I've got 2x squared, no other term ending in x squared. I've got 6x plus single x, which was simplified to give us plus 7x. And I've still got plus 3, which was my original quadratic. Once again, factorise means to put back into brackets. Again here, the number in front of the x squared term is not 1. So I apply my a times c method. Again, start by drawing across. A times c, I multiply the number in front of our squared term by our number term. In this case, 10 times negative 3, you must take the sign, gives us negative 30. So I want to find two numbers this time that multiply to give us negative 30, and the same terms must add to give us a number in front of the single letter. If there's no number in front of a single letter, the number is 1. So plus x is the same as plus 1x. So therefore, the number in front in this case is plus 1. In this case, the only pair that multiplies to give us negative 30 and adds together to give us plus 1, in this case, can be negative 5 and 6. Returning to my original quadratic, I always leave the x squared term alone, so I write down 10x squared. I'm now going to rewrite the middle term, the single letter of x, in terms of these two numbers. So instead of writing plus 1x, I'm going to write it in terms of plus 6x, because I go negative 5x plus 6x is still positive 1x. And I keep the number term, in this case negative 3, on the end. I now always split the quadratic after the second term. I now factorise my first two terms. Well, the highest common factor in 10x squared and negative 5x, in this case, is 5x. Opening my single bracket, what do I times 5x to get back to 10x squared? Well, I'm missing 2x. What do I times 5x to get back to negative 5x? Well, I'm missing negative 1. Whatever's in the bracket, I now copy over the dotted line, in this case, 2x minus 1. To find the missing term here, what do I times 2x to get back to positive 6x? Well, I'm missing plus 3, because I know 3 times 2x is 6x, and 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. I now factorise out my single bracket, which I know is the same. In this case, 2x minus 1. And whatever I'm left with, in this case, 5x plus 3, that goes inside my second single bracket.